When did you actually step foot inside a gym?
And I had a friend who was a trainer, and he's like, you got to come to the gym. So he convinced me to step on a local stage. I was starting to meet a lot of women my age. I feel like a lot of people in midlife start to go through a lot of changes, whether it's divorce. You know, you can go down the path of poor me, or you can go down the other road and
Have a glow up.
Exactly.
All right. We're going to get to all of that in just a moment. But first, I want you to know how grateful I am for today's podcast sponsor, my friends at FitAF Nutrition. They are Eastern Pennsylvania's leading meal prep company. FitAF offers meals of multiple sizes for people with various health goals. And you know what I love about this company? They use high-quality ingredients like grass-fed meats, wild fish, and locally harvested produce. And all right, for you parents on the go, they even offer family meals. Go to fitafnutrition.com,
Place your order by Thursday at midnight.
and get fresh, prepared meals delivered right to your door on Sunday.
Use code Leckey20 at checkout to get 20% off your first order of 7 meals or more.
Here we go, buddy.
It's the Ryan Leckey Show.
Welcome back to another episode of the Ryan Leckey Show. You know if I'm rocking a really deep V, no, we're not hitting South Beach in Miami. But we may be talking a little health, fitness, and nutrition. Especially, this one is aimed for the men and women out there who I really don't want to lift a lot of weight. I don't want to look like the Hulk. Don't worry, you're not going to. But you are so inspiring. What I love is your story, Dorene Castelline. You are a IFBB pro, so that's like a pro bodybuilder, right? A certified personal trainer, a certified sports nutrition specialist, and you have some other certifications and stuff. But your story's amazing because you didn't fall in love with fitness and you didn't start doing what you're doing until your late 40s.
Yes.
All right? We got to dive into this. So, I mean, you are proof, and I don't want to be cliche, that age is literally just a number. Because you are now a stunning, I'm going to say it, 59 years young.
Yes, I am.
You look great. But I wanted to have you on because there's so many people who are like, oh, it's too late for me. I'm just going to walk. I'm going to do this. But the importance of strength training for women, for men, and you work with a lot of women going through menopause, right? You're how do you say it?
Galveston diet certified.
Yes, certified in that. So first of all, let's dive into your story though, because I think it's fascinating. When did you actually step foot inside a gym?
So there's a little backstory. So I always just kind of did stuff at home, like the Insanity, the P90X,
Taibo? Did you do Taibo?
I didn't do that one.
Oh, I did Taibo.
The Firm, I love
Billy
the Firm.
Blanks, yeah.
Yes, but so that's all I really did. I never went into a gym ever. It was more home workouts, and it was just, hanging out with my neighbor, doing some home workouts, but nothing serious. And then when I was I was married for 20 years, and, sadly things came to an end, and, that's a sad time for a lot of people. And I had a friend who was a trainer, and he's like, you got to come to the gym because you're going to feel so much better.
It's going to improve your mental health, your physical health. I mean, there's so many benefits.
Exactly. And so I would go into the gym with tears in my eyes, and I would leave smiling because the natural, hormones that are released when you're working out just make you feel better.
Yes.
And trainers do become kind of like therapists, and they just know how to say all the right things and make you feel better. So to make a long story kind of short, he was a bodybuilder as well. And so he convinced me to step on a local stage here in Old Forge, and I stepped on I stepped on a natural stage, and I never ever thought in a million years that I would win, but I ended up winning every single division, and I became a pro in the Natural League, NGA, my very first show, and then from
how old
there,
were you, by the way?
I was 46. And then I was hooked. And what's funny, a little more backstory, is that for most of my life, I was plagued with chronic neck and back pain. I had severe herniated discs in my neck, and I was scheduled for 3 artificial disc replacement surgeries. And I backed out of all of them. I don't know, something in my gut just kept telling me, don't do it, don't do it. I'm a huge researcher. All of the science was saying I'm going to be a guinea pig, basically. There was no long-term studies. So I opted out of these surgeries and, took the natural approach. And so I was kind of on the mend when I was going through all this. And so when I went with this trainer to the gym, we only went 3 days a week. We took it super easy because I was so worried I was going to hurt myself.
Yeah.
And, you know, the one thing that happened was that I got better and I got stronger. And my doctors couldn't believe that I made a full recovery with 0 surgery, 0 medications. And it was through just patience, slow, learning how to do things properly.
I was going to say, because I've known you for years and I've seen you work out in the gym and you kill it. I would have never known all those other ailments. That's why I said when you and I were setting up for this podcast and you're like, hey, let me tell you. I'm like, tell me when we're on the show, right?
Yes.
This is amazing. So you had all these ailments. You're supposed to have this surgery, this surgery, this surgery. You start dialing and learning proper form, falling in love with the gym, and all of a sudden things just start feeling better.
Absolutely, and that's the stronger your muscles get, they're going to actually hold all those discs in place. So while I was strength training and lifting weights, I was strengthening my back and my spinal cord. And so I went from, and this is no word of lie, and I was in really, really bad shape at one point. And I used to have a couple of good days a month, and now I have a couple of bad days a year. That is how much fitness changed my life. And I felt so amazing that's when I started Never2Late Fitness, because it's never too late to feel amazing.
Yeah, and that's what I love. And by the way, if you're hearing like rumblings in the background, I swear it's like we're getting a hurricane in northeastern Pennsylvania on the day we are recording this, so it feels like the roof is going to blow off, so we apologize for that. But let's talk though. So you're in your sort of late 40s, you start working with a trainer, you're 3 days a week, you're going in there crying because you're at this time you're going through a divorce, but you're walking out of there, you're like, man, this is great. I'm feeling stronger and healthier and more like me. Tell me though, eventually when you said like, maybe I can make a career out of this, like when did that light bulb go off?
Well, it kind of really didn't go off like that. It's more or less, I'm very competitive, and I fell in love with the sport because I like to win. And so once I became a pro in the Natural League, I just thought, okay, well, what's the highest title? And that was Pro Universe. And so I got on another stage and got qualified for Pro Universe, flew down to Florida, competed, won there. And so I was like, oh, okay, I got the highest title in the Natural League. What's next? And I had a friend who was also a coach and a competitor, said, come on, jump over to the NPC. Now, the NPC, you're allowed to use drugs, and it's a non-drug tested league.
Right, but the other shows you did, you were drug tested?
I was drug tested and polygraphed,
and
yes.
when we say natural, some people on social media, they call it natty. They'll say, hey,
Yes.
I'm all natty,
I'm
right?
all natty.
So really, even before you became a trainer, just to back up to make sure I have this right,
Yep.
you just fell in love with competing, but just getting fitter, and you actually took to the stage
Yes.
before you became a personal trainer.
Yes.
Got it.
Yep. And so then I went over to the NPC with the help of this friend coach, and again, fell in love with it and got qualified for nationals. And then the next thing you know, I became an IFBB pro, and then the rest was history. And then I'm like, that's it. I need other people to feel how good I feel and how great all of this has been for me, whether you compete or not, just the whole aspect of it. And then I got certified, and then I just love to learn. So every year I'm always educating myself on something new, everything health and fitness related, and just to be as, educated as I can be to pass that knowledge on to my clients.
Yeah, because I want to find out then when you actually
Yep.
went full bore with the business. But I think before people hear this and they think like, oh my gosh, she wants me to be a bodybuilder. That's not the case, because
No.
you train men and women who are literally just trying to get fitter. Maybe they're trying to work through, an injury that they're trying to just maybe strengthen muscles to kind of keep surgery at bay, right?
Yep.
And that's a big thing I want to get across, because we talk about, I know it's as cliche as it sounds, age is nothing but a number, so to speak. But let's talk about, for people who are listening right now, when they're saying like, it's too late for me to start. You started in your late 40s, right? Like, how do you combat that? Because I'm sure the number one thing that you said you've heard, and I know I hear it from people all the time, especially from women, you hear it. I don't want to lift weights because, I don't want to get big and bulky.
I am going to tell you that I think all personal trainers across the world roll their eyes when we hear that. It is our biggest,
I'm not even a trainer and I get annoyed. There was somebody the other day, a guy who was like, I want to do minimal weights. I don't want to look like the Hulk. I'm like, I lift 5 times a week, heavy weights. I don't look like the Hulk. I would love to, but I don't.
Exactly.
So how do you deal with that?
It is so hard. And I think the problem is social media. You know, people are looking at pictures, they see all these, you know, athletes that are taking steroids. And that's why they're getting as big as they're getting. It is not easy to put on muscle. Muscle is what I call gold. So our bones are our silver, our muscle is gold. And let me tell you what, it is so hard to build muscle. And it is not going to just happen by accident. It requires a lot of effort and a lot of food and a lot of discipline. So to anyone that thinks lifting weights is going to make you bulky, that is the biggest myth out there. And no, you won't get bulky.
But I think the other health benefits, right? Preventing osteoporosis.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's so great. I mean, there's so many different studies out there how, you know, lifting weights can help reduce certain things like, I don't know, I think I saw Alzheimer's, dementia,
Absolutely.
like so many things,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, some people who end up getting older, you see them, they can't even pick up bags of groceries off the ground.
Absolutely.
You know? So you're training people for life, as we like to say.
Exactly.
All right.
It's a lifestyle.
So after you, you know, you win all these titles, right? And to have the IFBB Pro card, that's like huge, right? And what age were you when you, because you actually won that show, right?
Yes. So I'm not only just an IFBB Pro, but I'm actually a champion. So that means on a pro stage, I have won. I've come in first class. I've come in top 5 in 2 other shows. And these are against people that are 10 to 19 years younger than me.
Get the heck out.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And here you are up there rocking it, right?
Yes.
Maybe 19 years their senior.
Yes.
What's that like?
It's crazy. It can be intimidating. And, you know, but you have to, I'm a really big manifester. And I probably saw myself winning my pro card on stage every day. And I heard the judges saying the next IFBB Pro is my name. And I played that in my head every single day before that show. And
Visualization, it's huge
I'm
for every sport, and
huge
especially this.
manifester,
Yeah.
yes. And it's for anything in life. You know what I mean? If you're always saying, I have no luck, I have the worst luck, well, then you're going to have the worst luck. So you have to go into bodybuilding because it's very mentally challenging, and you have to go in there believing that you're going to win and believing that you're the best. And you can't let yourself, you know, doubt yourself by looking at all these other athletes. You know what I mean? It's really up to a judge to decide who's the best.
And definitely keep listening, by the way, because we're going to talk about how Dorene is going to be sponsoring sort of a male who's looking to get into bodybuilding. You're going to take him through the whole thing. We'll get to that.
Yes.
But let's talk about sort of the misconception out there. And I know you were saying, because you train a lot of women, right, who they're just, I just should do cardio, just cardio all
Yes.
the time, right? And you're like, no, you need to lift, right?
Yes.
We're going to burn more calories lifting, right? Cardio, you're going to, like, how do you deal with that? Like, what's your answer?
Well, I've actually converted quite a few marathon runners over to strength training. You know, running is, I'm really into biohacking as well, and there's only so much amount of cardio that's beneficial for you. So that's around the 25-minute limit, basically. And anything beyond that, you're just, especially as we age, you're putting a lot of stress on your joints, you know, your bones, and the key thing to protect as we get older is our bone density and our muscle. Because as we age, starting in our 30s, we start losing muscle mass and bone density. And the only way to stop that or prevent that is strength training. It's the only way. Resistance training, strength training, and eating more protein. And so when I see people doing all this cardio, I literally cringe at the gym. And if it's someone I know, I'll go over and I'm like, hey, you know, you might want to cut back on that cardio, spend more time on the lifting the weights. And really you want to look at cardio as more as cardiovascular. You're doing it for cardiovascular benefits. You're not doing it for really any other benefit. Because if you notice, like some of these runners, right, they're kind of just like skin on bone,
They look like,
no curves,
Yes.
no muscle, you know, they're just skinny. You know, they could run a lot faster than me, but
You could
know.
beat them down with your muscles when you catch them.
Yes. So, you know, but the people that do listen and do go over to strength training, they are shocked in how much their body changes. They're really probably the quickest ones to start showing definition, and they're eating more than they ever
Right,
imagined. They
'cause
can't
they're already
believe
leaned out, so you don't have a lot of
exactly.
fat to
They're already
lose.
leaned out,
Yeah.
so they're probably the easiest to see a nice transformation in their body.
You know what I love too? You specialize and you really focus on women going through menopause, right? And you're Galveston Diet certified, so you work with them. But like, what are some of the things and success stories you've had with women dealing with menopause who might feel like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do this, like this type of workout, or they're just not feeling it? Like, how do you navigate that whole world?
So menopause is totally a whole other wheelhouse, and it really does have to be addressed very specifically. So, you know, if you go to a group fitness class, okay, for example, it's not really for everyone, because women in menopause, number one, you know, they are starting to go through a lot of hormonal changes, and, you know, they're probably more fatigued, and you want to really focus on the resistance and strength training so that you can protect the muscle mass and bone density, but also their diet. So their diet is very, very specific. So we have been pretty much brainwashed most of our lives that fat is bad. And everything, you remember the fat-free, low-fat.
Oh, that huge craze.
Yes, and it turns out that when you're in menopause, fat is your friend. Healthy fats. So you want healthy fats, and you want still your protein, that's always key, but you want very minimal carbs, because as your body is changing and going through all these hormonal changes, so is the way your insulin is working. So the carbohydrates and insulin aren't really the best for each other, but the healthy fats and the proteins are. So it's a much more specific nutrition plan for people in menopause, and you know, it's strength training across the board. It works no matter what, but you know, it's really much more diet specific when you get into menopause.
And let's talk about, so the trainings and when, because you were one of those people, you're like, I really didn't step into the gym till I was in my late 40s. You did home workouts before, but then walk me through then when your love for, I'm going to get my certified personal trainer certification and the other stuff, like when did that start happening for you? Because again, you created a company called Never2Late Fitness, right? To show people like, okay, I was in my late 40s and just fell in love with fitness and became a trainer.
Well, and I felt like I was starting to meet a lot of women my age. I feel like a lot of people midlife start to go through a lot of changes, whether it's divorce, whether, you know, it's a loss. But I was noticing a lot of women going through, you know, I hate to say divorce, but 50% of people go through it. So, and I felt like they were just kind of like letting themselves like just go and be sad and be miserable. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be this way. Like there's two paths you can take. You know, you can go down the path of poor me and my husband cheated on me and I'm going to be depressed and I'm going to drink my troubles away. Or you can go down the other road and
Have a glow up.
Exactly.
Like you did. Yeah.
Exactly. And I try to tell people, to me, success is the best revenge. So why not show your ex how amazing you look? And not just how amazing you look, but you're going to feel so much better. Your confidence. And that's what it did for me. Like, it just changed my confidence, you know, because when you're going through a divorce, you know, you're not feeling so good about yourself. You're like, what's wrong with me? And, you know, why didn't it work? Am I a failure, you know? Right. And then you do something like this, whether you compete or not, you start to see those changes. You feel stronger, and it does something to you mentally. Like, now you're like, I can do this. I can get through this, you know, and I just did not want to see all these middle-aged women, whether it's menopause, whether it's divorce, whatever the case may be, just, you know, drowning through life. Like, so I wanted to throw them a lifeline of like, listen, it's not too late to change and be amazing and look amazing and feel amazing and find yourself someone new or a new career, whatever it may be.
So what year was that, or how old were you?
So I was about 48.
Yeah.
Yep. And
what was your old career life like?
so I had worked at Pennsylvania Power and Light, believe it or not, for like 18 years, fresh out of college. And then I decided to stay home and raise my babies. And
Right, you have a son and a daughter.
Yep, I have a son and a daughter, 26 and 24. And but then, you know, once they went to school, I was getting bored. So I did have an interior decorating business called Redesigning Women. And I did that for quite a bit. And then once I got into this fitness, once, everything changed in my life, I got into this fitness journey, and it just...
What did your kids think about this, though? So here's mom really getting serious about the gym in her late 40s. Then you're becoming, a bodybuilding pro, right? And then you get your IFBB pro card, which is a huge accomplishment.
Yes.
That I think people don't understand the work and the insane diet and focus you have to have training for those events. Like I have friends who have done those, you and other people, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I think I'm dialed in. You're like dialed in times 100, right?
Yes.
What did your kids think about this?
Yes.
Here's
well,
mom on stage and she's ripped.
my son thinks it's disgusting.
Okay.
He thinks it's disgusting, which I could see. I mean, I'm on stage
In a
basically in a
bikini.
thong,
Yep.
and 5-inch heels. So
She's peeled. She's shredded. You can see every ab.
So he thinks it's disgusting. But my daughter has been to several shows, and I think one day I might get her on stage. But the key thing about that is I feel like you become... now my daughter works out. Now she eats healthy, and she's got the foundation for a healthy future because she knows now the principles of proper strength training and proper nutrition. So, it's been, I feel like if I can just get my son to jump on board, but, I think it's a good thing.
How do you approach your workout training programs with your clients? Because you not only train in person in the Scranton area, you train virtually. You have clients in California and in Vegas. How do you approach your training programs with women of different ages, like the young versus maybe people 40 and up?
So obviously it's really what people are capable of doing. So before I even train with anyone, we have, a Q&A, and I really find out, do you have injuries? Do you have, anything that could prohibit you from exercising to your fullest potential? Younger people, obviously, they're pretty resilient. They can handle anything, but as you get older, this one has a knee issue, this one has a hip issue, this one has a shoulder replacement. So we're really working around what can you do and giving you the best exercises for your abilities, basically. And young and old, and I've trained people from 14 to I have clients in their 70s. And, the bottom line is it doesn't really even matter how old you are, honestly, because I have seen huge changes in my seniors, and they started way older than me. You know what I mean? So it's young, old. Strength training is something that anyone can do, versus other things like CrossFit.
I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to start a fire. I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going to go there. But let's talk about, what have you learned from training to get on a stage as a bodybuilder, right? And then getting your IFBB pro card. I mean, the resilience, the dedication to your nutrition, your confidence, all that. How have you taken those lessons there and brought them to the clients you train and into your life? Like, what did you really learn about yourself from that journey?
So what I learned was that you can do anything that you really want to do. And for the clients that aren't there, I usually tell them, you're not sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that's why you're not giving it your all. When you actually have a goal, so whether it's a show, I have a lot of first-time athletes, and so their goal is their show. But I have a lot of people that don't want to compete, but they want to look great and feel great. So what's your goal? To lose 20 pounds, to fit into a size 4, to look great for your mom's wedding, whatever it may be. And so, but to have a goal, that is the key to the success, because, I see so many people even in the gym, and they're just wandering around from machine to machine with no plan, no program to follow, and you're gonna fail, So
Can we talk about that?
Sure.
The fact that having a program to follow. I was one of those people back in the day.
Yes.
People look at me now and they're like, "You're in the best shape you've ever been," and blah blah blah. And of course, everyone thinks I'm like juicing and doing this. First of all, I told you I would do roids if they didn't kill you, right? If they didn't explode your heart, I'd be the first one on it. But that's the thing. I was one of those people forever. Like I'd go to the gym and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I had my bro workouts, right? I'm gonna do back and buys and chest and tries." And then of course I did the high intensity functional fitness. I did the CrossFit stuff. The nutrition wasn't where it was, but to have a program that I'm following that I can track and look back on and see what the gains were like last week. What did I deadlift last week versus this week?
Absolutely.
It is, and I don't know why it took me forever to figure that out. Right?
Yep, absolutely.
Game changer.
Game changer.
And my programming, at least for me, I know everybody's different. Like for me, it's changing every 8 weeks, right? I have a deload week, but to be able to hold myself, because I'm a type A personality, accountable, and to be able to measure the results, it's been night and day.
Exactly. And that's what, competing at the level that I competed at is, we're like, everything is how many weeks out. I'm 20 weeks out.
Yeah.
I'm 19 weeks out, and you are focused on that goal months in advance, and so everybody wants everything yesterday, but with competing, it's well planned out. We go through stages. We have to go through our bulking stage, and that number one will probably drop a lot of people out of even doing it because they don't want to feel fat. They don't want to feel fluffy. I have 3 different size clothes: bulky season, cutting season, and normal. So, everything is planned out. It's not just on a whim. So that's why I tell everyone, like, it's having a plan, having a coach. Honest to God, every coach needs a coach. I have a coach. Everyone needs a coach. And because we see ourselves in the worst eyes.
Yeah.
We're looking, we're
Yep.
critiquing ourselves. We feel we don't look good, but it's that other trained eye that's going to look at you and say, no, you look good, and this is what we're going to work on next. And having that plan, like I said, it all comes down to having a plan, having a goal, and just focus on that goal, and just believe in yourself, and you can really do anything you put your mind to.
But I think what you said, like for you at least, because if you're looking to do a show, you have that countdown from 20 weeks, 19 weeks, whatever, right? But I think other people could do similar things and still follow a really structured program that's going to benefit them. I think some people, whether it's, hey, I'm finally going to, get back into that swimsuit I always wanted to do, right? And, and I would tell people too, don't hesitate coming to your trainer with a goal, right?
Yes, all of my clients, I have a lot of clients that don't ever want to step on stage. They just want to lose weight. They just want to feel better. And they all have plans to follow too. They have a nutrition plan. They have a training plan. They have bi-weekly check-ins, where they need to send me their pictures, because that's a good wake-up call for people. Take a picture of yourself in your, bra and underwear, front, back, side, and then look at them. And that's going to really make you be like, okay, am I going to do something about this, or am I happy with how I look? And, so it's having that goal. Okay, you want to lose 25 pounds? We're going to work baby steps towards that goal of losing 25 pounds,
But I think for you, right, when you said you were doing like at-home workouts and you weren't really taking fitness seriously, like when you went into the gym and you first got with the trainer, right, and you started getting serious about fitness, you hit your rock bottom. So you knew, like, okay,
yes.
I like you said, I can go the emotional woe is me path, or I can go and say, all right, it's time to change my life.
Absolutely.
And I think the hardest part is when you love fitness and you love health and wellness and you find people around you who are like, oh, I should be doing that, or I should change, or my blood work's really terrible, and they're not changing stuff. Before I used to like let it exhaust me and I would try to like talk to them till I was blue in the face about stuff. And now I'm like, you have to do it when you're ready. Right?
Exactly.
Like I can't I can't drive you to the gym every day, right?
Or follow them around and see every
If
little
they're
thing they
following a
put in their
program.
mouth.
Yeah, well that too.
That's the number 2 thing, It's like you can't out-exercise a bad diet. And one of the biggest things is people think, oh, I worked hard all week and now I'm going to have fun on the weekend.
Oh my God, the weekend. I was guilty of that. I would derail that's why I also stopped, like, I didn't drink a lot. I would drink like wine like twice a month, but I was like an all or nothing mindset, right?
Yes.
So I would do so well during the week and then consume like 7,000 calories on a Saturday.
Right. And even if you just look at, okay, so you're great Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, let's even say Friday, but you cheat Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay. So out of 7 days, now you have 3 that you cheated and 4 you were good, right?
Yeah.
So look at you're not going to see much of a difference.
No.
Look at the whole month. You have 12 days that you're cheating and 16 that you're being good.
Right.
So 12, 16, there's not much room to see change. So you have to stick to it every day. You have to be consistent. My favorite motto is slow and steady wins the race. And,
I mean, consistency is key, right? And I think coming back, so when you're prepping for a bodybuilding show,
Yes.
so you're 59 now, like, right?
Yes, 59, just turned it.
You won all these other bodybuilding shows. Like, what's next for you? Like, what do you want to do, show-wise?
So there was only one show that was my goal that I'm just have accepted that I don't think it's ever going to be for me, but it's Masters Olympia. Olympia, if anyone doesn't know, Olympia is pretty much the Olympics of bodybuilding. So that's where the best of the best compete. But for Masters Olympia, the age is 40. And I don't think that's masters personally. I think it should be 45 or 50.
Yeah.
So in order for me to qualify for that show, I would have to win a 40-year-old class. So, and that's,
Competing against people 19 years younger than you again,
yes,
right?
and then, and I mean, I'm, honest to God, if I really wanted to go on steroids, I could do it. I could do it. But at 59, do I want to be taking things that may be very detrimental
just
to my
get
health?
on the
Exactly.
stage. And we should point out, you've done a lot of natural shows. Even the other shows you've done, like, have you juiced on any of those?
So I will not lie. Once you step on the pro stage as an IFBB pro, and I want you to think of this as it is 20%. It's only 20% of the whole entire world are IFBB pros. So that is how elite an IFBB pro is. So when you step on that pro stage, it is a totally different ballgame.
Right.
And everyone, including bikini girls, are taking steroids. So I converted over to wellness. I started in bikini, which is very skinny, and I have naturally big thighs. And so I wanted to, once wellness was created, I moved over into wellness, which was a totally different form of training, and I needed to put on a lot more size because I had whittled all of my size off to do bikini, and now I had to put it all back on. So yes, so I did have a coach who was, PED educated and completely followed his guidance. And we did. And the one good thing, and this is one of the things I really bothers me about amateurs, is amateurs are using PEDs when
performance-enhancing drugs.
Yes, performance. You should really save it for when you become a pro, because your body is going to react so much better the first time you use it than now you've been on it for 10 years. So when I first...
And look, we don't judge for that because,
Yes.
I mean, when you see some of these people stepping on the stage, like you said, it's probably around 20% in the world going after an IFBB pro card or whatever. Yeah. I could get that.
So realistically,
how did you feel though, like on those? Did you feel like you were ready to like the Kool-Aid man, ready to run through a wall and be like, oh yeah?
honestly, it's a lot more work than people realize. It's so much. Like, I never thought in my lifetime I would ever be able to do what I did, but I was that determined to win a pro show. That was my goal, was I wanted to win a pro show.
Yep.
And so realistically, to be competitive, especially in wellness, you have to use something. So, but like I said, I was 100% natty up until I stepped on a pro stage. And then only with the advice of someone educated in it did I, do what I needed to do.
And here's the one thing, though. I give you mad props and respect for saying, like, hey, that last show that I had to step on a stage where other people were using stuff, I had to have a little, I had to. And you worked with a performance-enhancing drug specialist, a person, a coach who helped you through that. I get it, right? And I think, like, that's the people who are like, I'm all natty, and they look bigger than Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, back in his best days. And I'm like,
yeah,
please.
Sure you
I love
are.
when people say I'm juicing. I was like, first of all, if I did, I would tell everybody, right? Because you know me, I can't keep my mouth shut. And second of all, I said I would do it if it would like explode your heart, but I would be like so much bigger.
Yes.
Like, and you hit the nail on the head. Whether you're a man or a woman, putting on muscle is so tough. So when people are like, I don't want to lift weights, I'm gonna get like the Hulk. I can bet my career that's not gonna happen if you go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week.
And you can't even imagine, the amount of food you have to consume to put on muscle. Yeah. And
but I should say the right amount of food, tracking macros, like being diligent about it at least, because it's not like we're saying like, okay, go eat like 10 large pizzas.
Oh, heck
Yeah.
no. Oh, no, no, no.
Right.
One of the things that's funny because people say, oh, you know, what's the worst thing about bodybuilding? It's how much food we have to eat. I swear we just get tired of chewing. Like I can't even eat a salad. It's just too much chewing. But we really track our carbs, our fats, our proteins. We're not just eating McDonald's or crappy foods. It's very, very clean foods. But yeah, it's a lot of food to put on muscle.
Now you mentioned obviously like, you know, a fast food joint and stuff, and you know, bodybuilders, I've known people who've done shows. How do you feel about the term cheat meal? Because, you know, the fitness, the fitfluencers and people, they're divided on this. Cheat meal. I'm just curious your take.
So,
Because some people are like, well, if your nutrition was on point, you wouldn't have to have a cheat meal. I'm just curious, how do you feel about
Yes,
as somebody
so-
who's done bodybuilding shows?
well, we call it a refeed.
Okay.
But yes, they call it a cheat meal. Now, the only problem with
A refeed. I want everyone to
It's a
use that.
refeed,
Hey,
a
what are you
refeed.
doing today? You're having a Whopper? I'm having a refeed. Yeah.
I'm doing my refeed. So really the whole point of a cheat meal or a refeed is more of a mental thing. So it's when you're in a calorie deficit for such a long time, it starts to take a toll on you, and you can kind of start to binge, or you know, maybe your metabolism needs a little pick-me-up. So that's actually what a refeed does. So when you're in a calorie deficit for a long period of time and your coach says, hey, let's have a cheat meal this weekend or a refeed this weekend, you eat off plan, which means you don't need to track your macros for that meal. And we're usually, my favorite one was pancakes. I loved IHOP, and so I would make a special trip to IHOP whenever I got a refeed. But it's really more
Thinking
for
about
that
that all week.
mental.
Yeah.
It's more
Yeah.
for that mental check. So, because you can't even believe how excited you get. Like you're just like, oh my God, what kind of pancakes am I gonna get? Like, oh my God, the strawberry. Like, it is like Christmas, you know? So it just kind of gives you that boost, that energy. The next day you can work, you just have so much more energy and you're like just all in it again. So a refeed is really more of, you know, just something to give you that metabolic jump start and give your brain that little fuel that it needs to keep you going.
Let's talk about, so for people who are inspired, especially young guys, to do a bodybuilding show, you're 59, you won multiple titles, right? You're sponsoring someone from Northeastern Pennsylvania to do their first ever bodybuilding show. Are you going to train them, walk them through the nutrition? Because we're putting out the call, right? You are
Yes.
looking to train the
Yes.
next maybe
Yes.
IFBB pro.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me
yes.
about that. Who are you looking for, and how does this
So-
work?
So there is a show that's in Pottstown. It's a natty show, so you do need to be an all natural. All natural, and it's a male only show. But it is probably one of my favorite shows. I had an athlete there last year, and it's just the most supportive community, and everyone helping each other. And it is a great place to meet other like-minded individuals, and it's a lot of young men that are wanting to step on stage for the first time, and to me that is a great show locally, and it's a sponsor
Go ahead, you got it. A sponsored show.
a sponsorship includes, so you get training plans, you get your nutrition plan. I help you on stage day, so I go to the show, I help you, I hook you up with someone that's going to help you with your posing. All of your entry fees are paid for. So in the natty shows, it's a little more reasonable than when you head over to the NPC and the IFBB Pro. It becomes extremely expensive to compete. So anyone that's looking to compete, make sure you have some money saved.
Save your money.
Because it's not a cheap hobby or sport.
And what are the ages you're targeting to help sponsor them in their first bodybuilding show?
So it could be really any age. So any age, it just has to be an all-natural male.
Is it 16 and up, 18 and up, 21
16 and up, yep. Actually, I had a 17-year-old there last year. And, but yeah, 16 and up. And any age, it could be even 60. Honestly, they have a age group for 60 there. And it is a really great show. It's a great show if you want to see if you like the sport. Like I tell people, do a local show that doesn't cost a lot of money. See if you like it. You might hate it. You might step on stage and say, this is
But
not
they
for
have
me.
your support along the whole way.
But you have my support the whole way. You get every single thing you need.
How do people get involved?
So they can
to go to your Instagram?
They can go to my Instagram, my Facebook. You can email me at N2Lfitness@yahoo.com. I have a 1-800 number, 1-800-N2L-6164. So
Look at you with the 800 number. I need to get one. Wait, I do have an 800 number. Somebody told me we do. All right.
So,
and we'll make sure we put all of that
yeah.
either in the comments or in the YouTube post.
Yep.
Well, that's really cool that you're going to do that. And I think, like you said, just to expose people to the sport of bodybuilding, right?
Yes.
The world of bodybuilding, so they can, see if it's their thing.
Yes, and there's a lot of, young men, boys, whatever, that don't have a lot of money. So I feel like this is a good way. Hey, if this is something you've always dreamed of trying, this is a good chance to try it. And, we'll put you in good company and get you on stage. And my last athlete won. And
Really?
Yep. So, I like to breed.
I remember
winners.
seeing your post, and I was like, look at you, nurturing the young bodybuilders.
Yes.
All right.
I
wanna
love
do,
it.
before we let you out of the seat, some rapid-fire questions.
Oh, boy.
As somebody who has stepped on to the stage as a bodybuilder, certified personal trainer, all that stuff. Okay. And then we're going to tell you how you can connect with Dorene.
Okay.
What's the one exercise you swear by?
All right, the one exercise I swear by that I feel like anyone can do it, believe it or not, is a kettlebell swing. I think any age, I have young and old, kettlebell swings are working, it works every muscle, your squatting, your core, your arms, your cardio. So I love a kettlebell swing. If you're talking equipment, I love leg extensions, but I'm a quad girl, so love the leg extensions.
Okay.
But yeah, kettlebell swings would be my exercise that I think anyone can do at any age.
Do you like morning workouts or evening workouts for you?
Personally, morning, and I've tried both, but I feel like when you work out in the morning, you're setting the tone for your day.
Love that. I agree.
So you have more energy, you're in a better mood, you're more likely to eat better, actually. Whereas the end of the day, I feel like, especially if you work all day, you're tired. And then look at the gym, how packed it is at 5, 6 o'clock. You walk in, you're like, everyone's in clusters, and it can be frustrating. You might leave early, and you're tired, you want to go to bed. So I just feel like if you can, but my biggest thing that I tell all my clients, and this is the number one rule, schedule your workouts like you would a hair appointment, a dental appointment. Look at your calendar every day. Where do I have an hour free? That's what I do every day. My time, it might be 7:30 one morning, it might be 10:30 another. Where is that time free in my day for me to get in what I want to do? And you need to schedule it like it's a doctor's appointment. You wouldn't miss that. But you don't want to go to the gym and do preventative health to keep you out of the doctor's office, So to me, getting to the gym is just as important as going to your doctor's appointment.
That's a knowledge bomb. Boom, right there. Put that in your schedule. Okay, so how many times a day do you currently work out, and how does that change when you're preparing for a bodybuilding show?
I only work out once a day. And cardio would be, I usually do it at home at my leisure. When I'm scrolling social media, I only scroll social media when I'm doing cardio. I feel like if everyone got off the couch and did that, we'd have a lot healthier society. But only one time a day. When I am in contest prep, I still only work out once. It might be an hour, might be an hour and a half. Leg days might go up to 2 hours. And then the cardio will vary basically depending on
the program you're following and everything else. And I know you prioritize your sleep. That's the biggest I always tell people.
Recovery.
Huge.
Muscles are not built in the gym. Believe it or not, everyone thinks the more time you spend in the gym, the bigger muscles you're going to have. And really, there is a thing called overtraining, and you need 8 hours sleep. You need to give those muscles rest. You don't ever work them out 2 days in a row, so that's why we do those splits, but it's recovery is what builds muscles.
What is one fitness trend you wish would go away?
Oh, God. So, I hate that people think a pill, a fad diet, a shot is going to fix all their problems, because these quick fixes, and I know because I have so many clients that have rebounded from these quick fixes, and they lose the weight in a short amount of time, but then the minute they go back to their old way of eating, they gain all the weight back plus some. So these fad diets, fad pills, fad whatever. There is no shortcuts in life, and that's what people need to remember. There's no shortcuts in health and fitness either, because if you don't learn how to eat properly or you don't know how to train properly, I don't care what shortcut you're on, eventually you're going to wish you didn't waste that time or that money and you learned how to do it the right way. Spend that money, hire a professional, learn how to exercise properly so you don't get hurt. Hire a nutritionist or someone that can give you your macros. You know, everyone is different. Everybody's body is different. No two programs are the same, you know? So
look, I agree it could be a great tool in their toolbox if they're fixing their nutrition,
the fundamentals,
the foundation, right?
Yes.
So when they come off of, say, it's a weight loss injection, because
absolutely,
you said it best. You and I know a lot of people who have gone on weight loss injections or other meds.
Yep.
And they lose a lot of weight, which is mostly muscle mass they've lost. It is. And they put on more than double. And it's sad because they're still eating the same way, like before they got on the medication.
And I work with someone that we do offer that, but they have to follow my nutrition. They have to do strength training. And that muscle is what's going to keep your metabolism going. That muscle is going to make you burn more calories. Fat is, this takes up this much space. A muscle will take up about this much. So you're recompositioning your body by building that muscle. So, you know, you see all these people kind of, they look like, I feel like, skin on a stick, basically. You know, nobody wants that. It's curves, it's muscle, and now all the research is showing that muscle mass is the key to longevity. So if you want to live a longer life, it's not about how skinny you are, it's how much muscle you have. And
you don't need to look like the Hulk.
And you don't need to look like the Hulk, no.
Yes.
And there is a direct correlation in lower body muscle mass. So they're saying the more muscle you have in your legs and your glutes, you are going to survive falling and breaking your hip when you get older, or a chronic illness, or type 2 diabetes. Muscle mass is finally starting to be studied, and they're seeing a direct link in longevity and Alzheimer's, dementia, all good stuff.
Yeah. A few more rapid fire questions.
Okay.
If you can train with any fitness legend, dead or alive, who would it be?
Okay. Deceased would be Mountain Dog. Love Mountain Dog.
I don't know who that is.
He passed away, sadly. He probably too many steroids and heart. But he was great because I am a believer in not lifting heavy. It's really about time under tension. And he was the same way. And alive is Charlie Glass. I love Charlie Glass. He's old school, and he has all the little, just the tweaks, you know, like, so just turn your foot this way, or just twist your hand this way, or this little cue. So he takes an exercise, and with a little tweak, you could feel it so much better. And I love that. Like, I'm all about that, you know, muscle-mind connection, and really, really honing in on those little tweaks.
Okay. And the last question I want to ask before we tell people how do they connect with Dorene, right, is where do you think fitness is heading? I mean, gyms. Where are gyms heading from 2025 and beyond? Is it more one-stop shop wellness centers that, like, where do you think they're going? I mean, we're seeing a lot of stuff blow up on social, so I'm just curious where your headspace is.
I have been seeing some really amazing, beautiful gyms that have been on social, and I do feel like we're going to see a huge boom in wellness and natural remedies. And I think a lot of these bigger gyms now, you're seeing the cold plunges, you're seeing the steam rooms, the saunas, the red light therapy, you know, you're seeing
recovery rooms.
It's recovery rooms. And I feel like finally they're putting more focus on not just the gym, because it's the recovery that is going to make the difference. If you're not getting a good night's sleep, if you're not stretching, if you're not, you know, doing all the things you need to do, eating properly.
I think they're going to be giant wellness centers.
I do too.
Right?
I think.
Like, do you ever see a Lifetime Fitness? We don't have any like in northeastern Pennsylvania, but they're the country club of gyms. So of course they provide everything from, you know, they have multiple pools, childcare.
Yes.
Basketball courts, etc. But they have recovery facilities. They have supplement shops.
Yep.
Barber shops. All in one roof, workspaces,
protein
for
shakes,
yeah,
the
like
supplements,
everything is right there. A restaurant on site, like that. I would never leave. I would move my office in there. Yeah, I'd be like, I want to get swole, and then come back and edit some videos.
Exactly, and some of these big gyms have like, you know, you go to our local gyms, there's like one glute machine. You go to these places, there's like 30.
Insane.
And
Yeah.
you don't even know how to use half of them because they're like so advanced. And so I think more people wanting to check out some of the newer equipment and the newer things that are available.
Right. This was a fun chat, and I think the hugest takeaway from sitting down with you is that now at 59, you look stunning.
Thank
right?
you.
Killing it, killing it.
you.
You really didn't start crushing the gym until your late 40s. So that's why it's never too late for your fitness. And the way for people to connect with you.
You can
On Instagram.
reach out on Instagram. I have N2L Fitness. I have Dorene IFBB Pro. It is Dorene. And I also, you can email me N2L Fitness at Yahoo. I have a 1-800 number, N2L 6164. So there's plenty of ways you can find me. I'm on Facebook, Instagram.
Do you
I have
ever
a
think,
website,
by the way, what's your website?
N2LFitness.com.
There you go. And that's N2L
The number 2, yes.
Fitness.com. Do you ever look back now and where you are now at 59 and where your fitness journey is and winning these bodybuilding shows from like the first time you walked into the gym in like your late 40s? Like, could you ever see it?
If you told me I was going to be a professional bodybuilder on stage in 5-inch heels wearing a diamond encrusted bikini, I would have said you're crazy. I would have never believed it in a million years. So you just don't know where your life is going to lead you, and it's crazy. I'm found my passion. I love helping people. I love educating people. And I just love helping people feel as good as I feel, you know, and especially seniors too, because you're not just training them to look better, you're training them for independence. You know, if they can pick up that case of water and put it in their trunk of their car and not wait for the bag man from the Giant, that's a win. You know what I mean? So it's not really like, people need to remember, fitness isn't just about, oh, you look great. No, I don't want to be a bodybuilder. No, it's more than that. It's independence. You know, if you can do things and you don't need someone there to help you, you know, and you feel good, that's a win.
And with that, everybody, Dorene, I love that. I got all jacked up. I want to like go to the gym now, so I
Right?
appreciate it. I'm glad we talked about this.
Yes.
I mean, you and I always like catch up at the gym, but I think like hearing your story and knowing how you kind of like, gosh, it still blows my mind. Like it was your late 40s, you're falling in love with fitness, and I think sometimes people, you know, they don't realize like you can get in this even if you're 52 or 53, right? It's never too late to start, and that's why I love the name of your company.
Never too late, and it's never too young, you know, and I think more kids should get into fitness and just.
As my mom would say,
Yep.
put down those video games.
Exactly.
All right. Hey, you can learn more
Exactly.
about Dorene. We'll make sure to tag her in this podcast. Appreciate you being on. This was great.
Thank you so
And
much.
Connect with her. Seriously. She's killing it. By the way, I can't wait to see your next bodybuilding show.
Yes.
And that fancy bikini.
Yes.
All right. Thanks so much. And thank you for being a part of The Ryan Leckey Show. See you next time.
Here we go, buddy.